Okay, so in today's video about Quant, we are going to check out this huge move on the downside, and I'm going to tell you why this might be a fantastic long opportunity. And also, I'm going to tell you why I opened some long positions right around this area in hope that we start the next major phase of the bull run. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a great time with your family and loved ones. And if you remember, the last time that we talked about Quant, we were right around these areas, and I was saying, look, this can be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the upside, and I still stand by what I said. This is actually a 5 wave up, but in the previous video, I told you, let's wait a bit more and see what the shape of the next move down is going to look like. If this was a slow and choppy move, fair enough, we can go long in here. If not, we should be very, very careful. And as you can see, we got quite a strong move down. So right around these areas, to me, was actually quite clear that I shouldn't go long in QNT. And I believe I also talked about this point in the previous video. Now, from here, since the previous video, we got a straight move down, and in it, we took all of these lows right around these areas. And that brings me back to the main point that I was making in terms of classic TA. You see, whenever you are hanging around a support or a resistance area more than usual, at that point, chances of getting a break of that region is just going to increase more and more. Let's say this is like a very important support. The reason for why this is a support area is because around it, we are having some long positions. Let's say in here, initially, we are having 20 long orders. The first time that we are going to touch this region, let's say 5 of those orders are going to get activated, and as a result of it, well, okay, we are going to have only 15 orders remaining. The next time, another 5 are going to get activated, so we're going to have 10 orders. Another time, 5 orders right in here, and there will be a time which we are going to touch this region, and we are going to have 0 orders in here, and it means at that point, we are probably going to go under this region, get a pullback, and then a continuation of the move down, meaning we are going to get a break of it. And the classic example for this case happened recently in QNT. Let's go on the live chart and see what is going on. So we talked about this area so many times. This is an unbelievably important support from weekly and daily time frame at the same time. And when we were around here, I was saying, look, technically this can be considered as a Wyckoff accumulation, but we need to get a very strong bounce back soon. Otherwise, we're just going to say, look, how many times are we touching this area? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times we are touching, and every single time we are getting some sort of a reaction from it. So chances of getting a break of this thing is just getting higher and higher. And unfortunately, we did actually get a break of this area. And I told you before, if we break this thing, we might actually continue our move down in order to reach to where? To around the next important support all the way down here between 75 to about $80. Now, if you go back and watch my previous videos, I was saying right around here, for me, it's not a decent long opportunity. Why is that? Because the risk to reward ratios are not really making sense. And I was saying if we get a move down and reach to about high 70s, let's say low 80s, at that point, I can actually consider opening some serious long positions. And that is exactly what I did. To be fair, I didn't actually long the absolute bottom in here. No, I wasn't that lucky. I went long somewhere around $80, $81. Now, my stop loss can be under the lowest low all the way down here. If I just go on H4 time frame, excuse me, there we go, somewhere around, let's say $50. Now, around $50 area, we are having a very important support from weekly and daily time frame at the same time. And just to be safe, since I got in a great price, my stop loss, I'm going to say it's going to be actually somewhere around $35 to $40. So overall, let's say I'm going to have a $45 stop loss. And what is my target going to be? Well, you know it if you are a regular viewer. The bare minimum target is going to be taking the higher side in this region around 175, let's say around $180. And basically, it means that I'm going to have about a 1 to 2.5 risk to reward ratio, which for me is fantastic. Now, let's go on some lower time frames and see what is going on, and can we argue that the bottom is in. First, let's go around here. You see, in terms of Elliott's waves, if you want to argue that the bottom is going to be in right around here, let's say this is like a very important support, then okay, you must be able to find off of the lowest low in this region a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. This specific example is a normal 5 wave. Rules for it are we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of impulsive structure, wave 3 should not be the smallest wave, and for our subwaves, we must be able to find 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5. There we go. Excuse me. And for wave 2 and 4, we can have many different possibilities. Doesn't really matter. Let's say, yeah, sure. An ABC into wave 4 and a WXY into wave 2. Understood? Okay. Now let's go on the live chart and see, can we find an impulse off of the recent lowest low in QNT, and maybe it's best to go on 5-minute time frame. Okay, so here is what I have in my mind. I'm thinking maybe this is a wave 1, correction for 2, decent move up into wave 3 to about here, or maybe here, doesn't really matter, correction for 4, and this can be considered as another move on the upside into wave 5. Can we have other scenarios? Yes. I can tell you, for example, maybe this is a wave 1, followed by that we are having correction for wave 2 to about here, another 5 up into wave 3, a rather clear one, and then this can be a correction structure, probably in form of, I would say, an ABC running flat into wave 4, and this can be another move up into wave 5. Nonetheless, the point that I'm trying to make is this. In my opinion, there is actually a decent chance that the bottom is in on QNT's price chart, and maybe we have completed a solid impulse to about this side. Now, here's a question. What happens after an impulsive structure on the upside? You know it, a correction structure down. That's why I need you to pay full attention to what is about to happen in this area. If this is going to be a slow and choppy move down, it is going to be a fantastic sign, suggesting the bottom is in, and odds are we are having a 1 correction structure for wave 2, and according to this scenario, what's going to be next? Well, probably a big move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5 in order to start another phase of the bull run. Now, let's zoom in more and see what is going on. And here's the thing. When you compare this move on the upside to this move down, you realize that we are in this phase actually having quite a weak move up. So what's the point? It seems like that we are having in here a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, followed by that this choppy move up is going to be probably a correction structure. Let's say, yeah, maybe like a WXY in form of a double zigzag, or maybe an ABC structure if you are able to find it, doesn't really matter. And I'm gonna say the next move in QNT is going to be on the downside in form of at least a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave. Now, at this point, we can say that these are the subwaves for an A, B, C zigzag. And what you want to see from here in Quant is actually a solid bounce back in order to take this side right in here. If you see this, that is going to be absolutely fantastic. So let's have our final conclusion and wrap up today's video. In like very short time in Quant, I think it's safe to say that we can definitely have another move on the downside. And if I just go on daily time frames, zoom on more, excuse me, let's actually hide everything. You see, this is a big shadow, and it was caused as a result of the quick bounce back that we got in our initial phase. Now, here's a very important point. Usually when we are getting such a strong bounce backs, that means we are actually creating decent gaps on the upside. That's why whenever you see big shadows like this, you can argue that soon we're going to get a move down in order to fill all the gaps in here. And hopefully at that point, we are going to have another move on the upside in order to start a solid uptrend. So one way or the other, seems like in the short term in QNT, we are going to have a move down, but that doesn't matter. What really matters is this. What are we going to do after this move on the downside? Are we going to get a very strong bounce back, or maybe we are going to continue our move down in order to take this low? If we do this thing, that's not going to be a good sign, unfortunately, but I'm hoping, and it seems like that we can actually say the bottom is in right in here, and this might be a decent bullish setup. So for now, as long as we're not proven otherwise, and also as long as in terms of classic TA, we are staying above this very important support between, let's say, 75 to about $79, we are going to stick with our bullish scenario and say that probably our move down in QNT is over. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Quant's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.